Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. So first off, I want to let you know I am outside recording and it is pouring down cats and dogs out here. It is miserable. Like, take a look at this real quick. Like, it is really coming down hard. Okay, it is cold, it is raining, and it is a miserable day, and I am recording a second video for you guys this weekend. Because a friend of mine had commented on a video of mine a couple weeks ago about how to transition from a day shift schedule over to a graveyard schedule, which he's starting, whatever. He is switching over from his day shift schedule he's currently on right now to a graveyard schedule as of next weekend. I think he's on the same schedule as me, Saturday through Wednesday nights, of course. So I have a whole entire video. This is gonna be a little longer, but it is a whole entire video of how to transition from being a day shift schedule to a graveyard, and how to actually survive on a graveyard schedule from someone who's been on a graveyard schedule for 6+ years. Like, that's pretty much, I was on a day shift schedule for maybe 2 months, and then I went back over to graveyard, and I've been on graveyard for, like I said, 6 years, I think going on 7 years. So I have a list of tips and suggestions, recommendations, what do you want to call them, of how to actually survive, how I survive on a graveyard schedule. Now, there are some benefits to working a graveyard schedule, but graveyard schedule is not for everyone. It is a really rough schedule. It is self-isolating. There's a lot of downsides to it, but there are a lot of upsides to it. It all depends on you and your preference and how you handle being on a graveyard and being up all night. So a couple benefits to being on a graveyard schedule is it is more relaxed, you have more freedom, you have a lot of downtime, it's a lot slower during the day, there are not a whole lot of people out, and you can get away with a lot more things on the graveyard schedule than you can on the day shift. And I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean just that you can actually just do things on graveyard than you can't do on day shift. Like, for example, you can read a book, you can watch a movie or a show, depending on what your job is, of course. You can listen to a movie, you can listen to music or a podcast, or I don't know what else. Some people like to do crafts on graveyard. Like, I know when I watched one video of someone who was on a graveyard schedule, she liked to knit, or she did scrapbooking. And then there's this one who actually did, like, I think she said, what was it she said she was doing? Journaling? Something like that. I don't know exactly, but there's a lot of things you can do on graveyard that you can't do on day shift, because you got more downtime. And like I said, depending on your job, it depends on what you can do. Like, for me, I'm a security officer. I guard garages at night. I make sure no one breaks into these cars. I can walk around and listen to podcasts. I can walk around and listen to music. I can walk around with my tablet and I can talk to people on Discord. I can read my Bible on my tablet here. I can watch a movie or a TV show. Oftentimes I'll read a book. Like, I will bring my physical Bible with me and I'll read my Bible or an actual book, but you get the point. On day shift, I can't do that, because not only is the client there, there's just too many people walking around. My supervisor is a little more strict. Our account manager's there during the day. We can't do that on the day shift. But on graveyard, like I said, account manager's not there, client's not there, there's less people there. We can do all that kind of stuff on graveyard, at least for me as a security officer. Another benefit to the graveyard schedule is oftentimes, depending on the job again, you are paid more. There's a pay differential going from day shift or swing shift to a graveyard because people don't want to work graveyard. They don't want to do the job. They want to be on a day shift or a swing shift schedule. So oftentimes companies will pay more for graveyard just to get people to work graveyard. Now, unfortunately, we don't get a pay differential because my job, my company is union. So everyone is paid equally because we're union. They have to keep it fair. So we are paid a lot higher than most security companies because we're union, but we don't get that pay differential. Another benefit to being on graveyard is even though you are sleeping during the day, you still have a little bit of time to actually do things during the day, like usually in the afternoon, depending on when you want to sleep. But also because most everyone else is sleeping, most everyone else is already working during the day. So kids are in school, if your kids are in school at that point. Okay. So your kids aren't going to be bothering you when they are at school, and you have the quietness to actually still be able to sleep. You just have to trick your mind and your body into thinking that it's nighttime, which is one of the tips. So before on you, I'm just gonna read this directly. The night before your first graveyard shift, go to bed as late as possible and sleep in the morning to get your body acclimated to the shift change. So, for example, say your first graveyard shift is tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at, like, you'll go off my shift. You start at 10 o'clock and you go into 6:30 in the morning. That is your first shift. So tonight, what you would want to do is you want to stay up as late as you possibly can. Push yourself as far as you can. Stay up until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, even 6 o'clock if you can make it to them, to get your body ready for tomorrow night's shift. And then go to sleep. Sleep until, like, say you want to sleep until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock when your kid gets out of school. See, that way, your body is not being shocked into staying up all night tomorrow night for the graveyard shift. It's almost like that. What is it called? Water shock and everything. If your body is warm and you suddenly jump into a pool of really cold water, your body's gonna get that shock. It's gonna be surprised. It's gonna be startled. That's kind of what I'm saying. If you do not try and sleep, if you do not try and accumulate your body to a graveyard schedule, you staying up all night tomorrow night is going to put your body into a little bit of shock. It's not going to be used to it. You're going to be falling asleep halfway through the shifts. It's going to be difficult to stay awake for the entire shift. So try and stay awake as long as you possibly can the night before your shift when you're at home, so that when you go to your first shift, it's not so difficult. It's still going to be difficult. It just won't be as difficult if you had just went in it cold turkey. I think that's how it means. But you get what I'm saying, okay? So, all right. So let's go ahead and get into the tips and suggestions I have for the graveyard schedule. So the first thing you want to do is you want to set a sleep schedule, a actual sleep schedule. So say, for example, you go into 6:30, you drive home, you get home about 7:30. So say like 8 o'clock until 3 o'clock. That's usually what I do. 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That is my sleep schedule. I try and stay on top of that. I try not to have any distractions in between that, and that's my entire sleep schedule, and everyone knows it. So you let your wife know, your husband know, your kids know, your anyone you have in contact with, like your friends, your family. Let them know, say, hey, this time to this time, this is my sleep schedule. Please do not contact me unless it is 100% an emergency, because I need to get sleep for that night shift. And that would be your set schedule. That would be your set sleep schedule. Okay. So like I said, 8 o'clock until 3 is my sleep schedule. Now, I'm not always on top of it because usually I'm still on Discord until like 9 o'clock, but I try and still stick to that little window. Just be a little more disciplined than me. Okay. All right. So, second tip I have is make, oh, wait, I was looking at the wrong one. Yeah. Make your home dark for when you come home. So, for example, if you have a wife or a husband or a roommate that is working a day shift schedule and they leave before you get home or before they go to bed, have them completely close the curtains, close all the blinds in your entire house so that when you come home, it's dark. It'll trick your mind into thinking that you're coming from day shift into nighttime. Okay, it'll trick your mind into thinking, because you obviously when you get off work, it'll be about 6:30, 7 o'clock, depending on what time you get off work. It'll be bright out. So when you come home and you step inside, it's dark time. It's nighttime inside. It'll trick your mind into thinking it is time for bed. It's time to unwind. It's time to relax, and it is time to go to sleep. So make sure your whole house is dark when you come home. Like you said, you you do it yourself before you leave for work, or who else lives with you, have them do it before they go to bed or before they leave for work. Just make sure your place is dark when you come home. Okay. Now, when it comes to food, now, okay, all my tips and suggestions are completely random, unorganized. I just sprung these out as I thought about them. So there's no set order for any of these. Okay. Eat a light lunch on shift, eat more healthy snacks, and drink more water. Okay. That's like 3 in 1, all regarding the food. Okay. So you want to eat a light lunch. You don't want to eat something heavy, because if you eat something heavy, all it's going to do is sit on your stomach. It's going to make you feel bloated. It's going to make you feel sluggish. It's going to make you feel tired. And it's going to make it harder for you to stay awake during your shift. Instead of eating a heavy meal, eat something light. Eat something like a sandwich, something that's going to be a lot more lighter. I guess that's the only word I can think of. A lot more gentle on the stomach. That's not going to make you feel like you just ate like a huge meal. Another thing that could help with eating a lighter meal is throughout the entire shift, eat small snacks, like healthy snacks preferably. Don't eat sweets, because sweets are just going to make it even worse. It's going to give you like a energy crash eventually. But try things like peanuts, trail mix. Trail mix does have M&Ms in it, so you're getting a little bit of sweet, but it's majority of the healthiness, like the peanuts, the walnuts, depending on what you put in it, like the honey nut Cheerios, or I like to put coconut in mine. I like to put little banana chips in mine. Go for the healthy snacks, because that will help with your energy level. It'll help with staying awake and just not feeling sluggish throughout the entire shift. Water is also helpful. It's not going to curb the cravings like being hungry, but it is going to make you feel a little more full, but it's not going to be too heavy on your stomach either. On top of it too, just drinking more water in general is good for you. You're just going to have to go to the bathroom a little more. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Another tip for when you get home is wear a sleep mask. I have like 2 different sleep masks, but I found one on Amazon that I'm going to be buying with my paycheck this coming weekend. That is a lot better than the ones I currently have. It actually is, what do you call it? It's like a raised eye mask. The ones I currently have, they're pressing straight on the eye, so if you open your eyes at all, your eyes are just gonna rub against the actual eye mask. But the one I'm getting has like these round holes in it where your eyes can go, and then even if you open your eyes are not touching the eye mask, but it keeps the mask on. It still makes it to where it's dark, and it is supposed to be really helpful. I am, like I said, I'm buying that this weekend. I'll have a link to that in the description below so you guys can try it out too if you guys want to. But I've had a lot of people tell me about that. A lot of people have sworn that it's helpful and is really useful, and they highly recommend it. So I'm going to go ahead and try it, and I will give you guys my recommendation on how it seems to work with me in the next in one of my next videos. But if you guys get to before I do, let me know what you guys think about it. Okay. In addition to the sleep mask, make sure you have blackout curtains. We have blackout curtains. We are also getting this thing called blackout screen, I think it's called. It goes directly on the window. So the blackout curtains work, but it doesn't really help when you have cats who like to go in the window and they'll be like, they'll pull the curtain out and they'll go in the window, and then you get that little blinding light right there. Cats are mean. Mine are mean. But I am, again, same thing with the sleep mask. I'm buying those this weekend, and they're supposed to go straight onto the window. So even if the blackout curtain is pulled aside, those can be on the window. It'll eliminate the light completely. It'll make my room darker, like it's actually dark. So I would really recommend getting those. Same thing with the sleep mask as well. I was recommended those. I was told that they're high recommendations. People swear by them. And that is another thing we'll be trying as well, because I need to make my room darker. I need to be able to work on my sleep schedule, and hopefully those work. So I'll also have a link to those in the description below. So again, if you get them before I do, and you try them, let me know what you think. Okay. Caffeine. Limit caffeine to 2 or 3, like the first 2 or 3 hours of your shift. If you have caffeine anytime after your 4th hour of your shift, like if you have caffeine after your lunch hour, you're gonna screw yourself over, because it's going to keep you awake. It's gonna make it harder for you to fall asleep when you get home, and it is gonna be, your entire sleep schedule is going to be out the window. And next thing you're going to know is, if your sleep schedule is 8 till 3, you're going to be sleeping past 3 o'clock, because you're not going to be able to get to sleep at 8 o'clock. So I try and limit my caffeine, any kind of coffee, energy drinks, those little energy shot things. I try and limit that to the first 2 to 3 hours of my shift, so that it'll keep me awake for my entire shift, but it's not screwing me up near the end of my shift when I need to get home and go to sleep. And by the time I get home, that caffeine will be gone out of my system. But if you have caffeine so close to your lunch, so close to the end of your shift, that caffeine is still going to be in your system, and that is what is going to keep you awake. So you don't want to have caffeine so close to the end of your shift, or even in the middle of your shift. Have it near the beginning. Unless, of course, you really need it, then go ahead and do so. But just keep in mind that it might affect your sleep schedule after you get home. Okay. Utilize naps during breaks when working. So especially when it is your first week on graveyard, utilizing taking naps during your breaks is really beneficial. I take naps during my my breaks at work. I will go back to the office. I'll turn the lights off in the break room, and I will, not recommended because it's kind of hard to do, but I will lay on the ground, and I will use my backpack as a kind of a pillow. I'll put on some kind of really low music, or one of those scary stories I listen to that's kind of just relaxing, and I'll just take a real quick 15-minute nap that'll help me keep me active and keep me awake for the rest of the shift. And I do that at the end with my last 15-minute break as well. and it makes the shift a lot easier. But you're only taking a real quick break, a real quick nap. Okay. Get regular exercise to help with your mental well-being, and I'm talking about that's after your shift. There's another form of exercise for during the shift, but this is what you want to do after you get off work, because even a 15 minutes exercise, any kind of exercise, doesn't even matter what it is, it's going to help your mental well-being. It's going to help with you staying sane, basically. Okay, it also helps you staying active. It helps you stay like keeping your muscles going, not letting you go kind of getting how do you explain it, like it just keeps you active. Okay, just like a 15-minute workout doesn't have to be something, it doesn't have to be like you hitting the gym and hitting the weights or anything. It's just a real quick 15-minute workout that is going to help with your mental well-being. I don't know the psychology of it, but that is what a lot of people have recommended. That's what I've been doing after I get home from work. Before I go to sleep, I get home about 8 o'clock, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, whether. And the first thing I do when I get home is I do a 15-minute workout, and then I go ahead and lay down and start getting ready for bed. And it has drastically helped my mental well-being, and it has drastically helped my mental health, and just me feeling a lot more myself, just not completely drained. I cannot talk. My mental well-being is not down in the gutters. I don't really know how else to explain that other than it just helps with your mental health. Okay. Some things you want to take, and this is my preference. This is what I take. You do not have to follow these, but I would really highly recommend these. Taking a bunch of vitamins. Okay, so the first vitamin you want to take is vitamin D, because that's obviously your lack of sunlight. So vitamin D is what I would recommend taking for the lack of sunlight. B12 and B6 for energy and mood. Magnesium for sleep and relaxation. Vitamin C and E for immunity and antioxidants. I'm probably saying that wrong. And then melatonin for sleep cycle support. Those are the ones I take on a regular basis. You don't have to actually take the actual vitamins. You can actually take some kind of, you can eat something that has all of this in it. But that would be my recommendation. My recommendation is, like I said, take a multivitamin that has all of these in it. Because, like I said, that's going to really help you on your graveyard shift. Now, the exercise for while you're on shift, when you're working, make sure you get your step count in. It doesn't matter, and I'm not counting this fact that I'm a security officer. Okay, me being a security officer, I walk around everywhere. I average anywhere between 30 to 40,000 steps by the time I'm done with my shift. So I'm not telling you guys to try and match that. I'm trying to tell you guys, whatever you guys' shift is, if you guys are working in a warehouse, if you guys are working in a hospital, if you guys are working in, I don't know, just any job that you're working, make sure you try and get steps in. Do walk laps, just kind of pace back and forth, just kind of keep yourself active. The fact that you're walking is what's really going to help keep you awake. If you just sit down and you're just kind of sitting there, you're all right. Sorry about that. My kid decided to he's done with his therapy appointment for today. So I was discussing things with his therapist. Want to say hi, Bubba? Hi. Okay. All right. So we're gonna finish this up real quick, and then we're gonna head and get out of here because it is starting to come down harder. So as I said, yes. So make sure you get your steps in, because getting your steps in, it means you're going to be staying active. It's going to help you stay awake. It's going to make your graveyard shift a lot easier than if you're just kind of sitting there not doing anything. If you're literally just sitting here watching a screen or just checking people in and out, whatever your job is, your body's going to start getting tired. It's going to start unwinding down. It's going to start thinking, oh, hey, I'm not doing anything. Time to shut down. Time to go to sleep because it's nighttime. But if you keep yourself active, even if it's just pacing around, what I said, the friend that I have that I'm making this video for, he works in some kind of warehouse bus thingy. I don't exactly know how to explain it, but he works in front of like a machiney thing. So for him specifically, just pacing back and forth, even just a little bit, walking around in circles, is going to help a lot in being able to stay awake, staying active, keeping your body from doing that slow progression, slow unwinding, starting to kind of unwind and fall asleep as if you're going to bed. Okay. When you get home, now this is a personal preference, not for everyone. All depends on how you do, especially if you're like warm blooded or yeah, like you're warm blooded and you're really warm. But me, since I'm anemic and I'm always colder than everyone else, I like to, when I go to sleep, I like to have on my heated blanket. I will turn it on and I'll have it set for 4 hours or whatever. So it automatically turns off at a certain, like after 4 hours, but it is heated. It's keeping me warm. Another thing I like to have during the summertime is I like to have on a weighted blanket. Again, it kind of keeps me warm. It just kind of gives you that sense of comfort, that sense of weight on you, and it helps me sleep. Now, like I said, this is a personal preference. Like I said, I'm always cold, so me having on a heated blanket to stay warm is what helps me sleep. But for you, for whoever is watching this, really, if you are naturally warm, having a heated blanket might not be the best idea. So take or leave this one as you guys see fit. Okay. Last couple of things I have. Last couple of tips. Okay. This one should be kind of standard, but a lot of people forget about this one is put your phone on do not disturb. Okay. From the set times of when you're sleeping. So like I said, if you're sleeping from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, put your phone on do not disturb so that only people who are like only certain people are be able to reach you. Like for example, for me, if I put my phone on do not disturb, only a set amount of people are going to be able to get through that block and be able to call me. My old man can call me. My sister can call me. My brother, but I mean, they're also in Texas, so they're not going to really call me. But on the in case, like for whatever reason, if something happens to them, they are able to get through the do not disturb to reach me even during those hours. My roommate would be able to get through to me if his phone was working. At the time when my mom was alive, she was able to get through to calling me. So you want to have like your wife, your husband, your kids if they have phones, maybe like your school, the school, this whatever school that they're going to, having to be able to get through to you in case like something happens to your kid. But you want to have as few amount of people being able to get through that do not disturb list, the block, to be able to get a hold of you when you're sleeping. So if it's not important, they're not going to be able to get a hold of you. They're not going to be able to call you. They're just going to let you sleep. It makes it this distraction a lot less. Going off of the phone as well, you want to, when you get home, like the first half hour, put your phone away. Do not use your phone for like the first half hour after you get home, because then I'm not exactly sure what the science, the chemistry behind it, but if you're on your phone, that light from your phone is what's really going to keep you awake. It's going to make it harder for you to fall asleep. So if you put your phone away, you plug it in, you put it on the charger, you put the do not disturb on, and you just leave it, you'll have a lot easier time falling asleep within that half hour, or after that half hour of being off of your phone. So that is something that you might want to try doing as well. Any kind of device, actually. Okay. All right. Last suggestion I have, and this one is really important. Okay. Do not switch back to a day shift schedule on your days off. So, for example, like I said, I have Thursdays and Friday nights off. So when I get home Thursday morning, I will continue sleeping up until like my regular sleep schedule, my 8 to 3 when he's in school. And then I will try and stay up as late as I possibly can that night as if I'm doing a graveyard shift. And then I will sleep Friday morning up until he has to go to his appointment. And then I get up and I make Friday my regular day. So my schedule is kind of wonky. I will stay up until 3 o'clock on Thursday nights, and then I'll get some sleep. Like I said, that way I'm getting a full night's sleep, but I can also still get him to his appointment here at the therapist on time without being completely tired. Then tonight, I will stay up all night, and I will sleep tomorrow like I would on a regular, if I was working graveyard tonight. So if you can, do not switch back to a day shift, swing shift schedule on your days off, because that is just going to throw you off. It's going to make it harder for you to go back to work on your graveyard schedule. It is just going to make it that much difficult. But if you really have to, like I said, if you have appointments you have to make, if you have things you got to do, try and do at least one of your days off, like as if you were working a graveyard schedule. Like I said, for me, Thursdays, I treat it as if I'm still working. Fridays, I don't, because like I said, I have his appointments, but I will still be up all night tonight, and I'll sleep all day tomorrow as if I'm on a graveyard schedule. So that's kind of just my schedule that I have to work around, because like I said, he has to have his therapy appointments. And if you have kids as well, you might have to switch your days off to work around your kids. But you work with what you can do. If you can do it, treat your days off as if you're working and continue your graveyard shift. That way it makes it easier, and it's not so difficult to go back into your Monday working the graveyard shift. So that is the tips and suggestions I have. If you guys have any other tips or suggestions that work for you, if you work a graveyard shift, comment below and let me know. And let me see, what else can I include, Bubba?
Next day.
Next day. I don't know. Anyways, if you guys stayed to the end of this video, you guys are awesome, and I absolutely love you guys, and I really hope this helped not only my friend, but I'm hoping it helps someone else who is on a graveyard schedule, either transitioning to one or who's been on graveyard schedule for a while and just hasn't been really successful at it. And like I said, if you are on a graveyard schedule and you have a different tip or suggestions of what you recommend, like I said, comment below and let me know, because I can always use more. I can always use a better explanation of why this certain tip or thing works out. But yeah, like I said, I hope this helps someone, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Bye.